the ColorLogic system works accurately because we have characterized all of our colors and our decorative effects based on what the printing press can do. So we've basically studied all major press manufacturers, whether that's printing with white ink or silver ink or toner, and we then built a system around it. So all of our algorithms in our plugins, all the color formulations in our swatch books are based around what the press can achieve. So from there, we now know what is achievable with the machine. We can now use those tools to do color separation. So that could be in Illustrator, like we're in now, to show you. We could be packaging labels, etc., using our dedicated metallic palettes. Could be in InDesign as well, but today we're going to demonstrate how to do the image separation that we did for Printing United on your files. So as a quick demonstration to compare against how white ink is usually done versus what we do with ColorLogic, on the left hand side we have the traditional old-fashioned white ink mask. Now that basically means you have to create a separation where you want to see the white. Now you can't see white on a computer screen if you make it white. So for anybody that's not familiar with this, if I make it white and then I switch on my file, you cannot see your white separation because white set to overprint or multiply goes transparent. Therefore, we're all taught that basically we should create a spot color called white and we should make it like blue, for example. That's the most commonly used one. So now we see the white, but it's blue. So all your whites are blue, all your images contaminated by blue colors, you can't really see the intent of the design correctly. Now what normally happens is people basically put metallic in everything else. So in this background area, for example, you would have the silver substrate and that's it. So you'd have silver substrate and white. And it's quite a crude way of working. You get these kind of like hard edges. There's no photorealism, there's no shading, and quite honestly, it looks quite terrible. Now with ColorLogic, on the other hand, this image here, we have the ColorLogic separation. So you can see the image on the right actually looks right. It looks correct. And it looks correct because we're using our plugins. So first of all, we have a plugin from the plugin menu. It's an Adobe UXP based plugin. The image separation algorithms have been developed, like I said, based on what the press can do. So it takes into account things like ISO standard for the CMYK. And then calculates the optimum effect for the pixels in the image based on all these different properties. Yellow is more translucent than a blue. You need less metallic in the yellows than you do into the cyans. There's an anti-screen clash algorithm built in there. There's a whole range of complexity. But what it basically means is all you have to do is create metallic separation. So we've done one here. We've got the separation done. So the silver is the silver substrate. The white is the white ink mask. So unlike comparing it against the old-fashioned method, our separation shows you the silver substrate and the white, whereas the old-fashioned method doesn't show you a silver substrate, doesn't show you white. So what's the more logical thing? Design where you can see the effect correctly, accurately, with color separations that generates photorealistic separations. You've got tonal shading throughout there. It's not 100% white, it's not 100% silver substrate. We create tonal ranges based on our algorithms. So that means that we have these photorealistic separations. Now the next thing we're going to do is show you how we did it on your actual file, so we can show you how the plugin worked and what we did to it. We will then take that file and render it in the FX viewer, which we use to see the metallic effects, and then we can then see what the final printed result was like. Okay, so let's jump into it. Okay, so to convert this image, we're going to do the ColorLogic separation, but we also did the Duplo separation. So Duplo did the effect by putting it through the machine, but we actually created the separation for them. So I'm going to show you how we did that. It's kind of very simple. For ColorLogic, we go to the plugin menu, go to ColorLogic, go to Image Effects, press the button, create metallic separation. That's now going to analyze the image and calculate the optimum metallic effect for each pixel in the image based on its hue value. We now end up with a new separation for ColorLogic, and it is a tonal separation, meaning that we have tints of the effect inside there. Now we don't want everything to be metallic, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a mask, and then we're going to get rid of everything that we don't want by basically deleting it to white. So now we've got rid of the things that we don't want to be metallic. It's really, really simple. What we need to do now is basically decide what else do we want to do. Well, I've actually created a Duplo separation. Now, I also don't want metallic in my Duplo areas, so I'm going to make a selection of the Duplo. I'm going to go on my metallic separation, and I'm going to delete that to white as well. So now I have my ColorLogic metallic separation inside there, which basically is in the background. So we have metallic in the background. Now, silver substrate is gray, so what we're going to do is do a color calculation. through the ColorLogic separation to compensate for the grayness of the material. So sounds complicated, but it's actually very, very simple and easy to do. First of all, let's just flatten everything down. So we're working on a composite image. We're going to convert this to CMYK. And then we know that the color corrections have actually been done on the CMYK separations correctly. We're going to make a selection of the ColorLogic pixels. We're going to go onto the ColorLogic, onto this CMYK base layer. We're going to do a color correction mask through brightness and contrast. So using the properties box, I'm going to set the brightness to 30. And that will just boost it up. If I can set my value correctly, it'll just boost it up in that selected area where the metallic is. We're going to do the same thing again, go to the ColorLogic layer, make a selection of it. We're then going to go into it and do a hue and saturation change. And this time in the saturation box, we're just going to hit that up to about 15. Now, these are just small little subtle differences. So there's a little bit of color tweak, and the background you'll notice is gone just a little bit lighter based on where the metallic effect is going to be. And that's because, as I said, silver substrate is quite grey, so we're basically removing some of the greyness from the image to be compensated by the substrate. So that's it. That's all we had to do for the ColorLogic. Now, when it came down to Duplo, we wanted to make sure that we had some gory effects in there, so we created this separation here by using different layers of all the blood splatters. So everything that's black will be the varnish, and then obviously we'd have the ColorLogic separation as well. So that way we had metallic in the background, we had 4 color contrasting against it, and we had the glossy wetness of that varnish coming through on all the blood splatters and on the eyeball. And that's it. That's what we did for this particular file. What we're going to do now is we're going to take it into Illustrator. We'll then save it as a PDF file, and we'll bring that into the FX viewer, which will then make a movie to see what it looks like.